One introduction. Rosep view: the United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only. For home building and furniture building, for just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lungs, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the Eco-Design Wood Stove and International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. Rosep view: purple air PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary. Episode 57D EI February 22nd, 2025 Wisconsin Heat Pump Rebates of up to $8,000 based on sliding income. In episode 57D EI1 Wisconsin Heat Pump Rebates 2, United States Supreme Court rejects for now Trump bid to fire government watchdog. 3 Pennsylvania and Illinois Democratic governors urge more fight against Trump. 4 United States Nonfiction: How Trump Rode a Wave of Reactionary Nihilism to the White House. This book gives Democrats ideas on how to reach Trump voters who regret their decision. Main content: 1 Wisconsin Heat Pump Rebates, ready to make your home equipment more energy efficient. https://focusonenergy.com/IRA. Here focus on energy website on heat pump rebates in Wisconsin as of February 22nd, 2025. Rosep view: the heat pump and other here rebates are still there. The cheaper alternative to dirty air polluting indoor residential wood burning is still there. Heat pump rebates of up to $8,000 based on a sliding income scale in Wisconsin. Excerpts edited by Rosep for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. A 501c3 nonprofit organization. Let home electrification and appliance rebates here start saving you energy and money. Here gives rebates to help low and moderate income families make their homes more energy efficient. Equipment must be purchased and installed by an IRA registered contractor in 2025. You will be able to purchase equipment through participating stores. This simplified process shows what you can expect. IRA home electrification and appliance rebates. Income qualification: IRA home electrification and appliance rebates. Registered contractor selection: IRA home electrification and appliance rebates. Equipment installation: 1 complete income qualification. All participating households must verify their total household annual income is less than 150% of the area median income. AMIA household includes all individuals living in the home regardless of relation. You may be asked to provide documentation. Income: by reviewing the IRA income qualification checklist, you can have your documents ready. When applying, we encourage online applications for quicker processing and results, but have a print-ready option to this short video. IRA home energy rebates income qualification process explains income qualification step-by-step. Online income application PDF. If you were previously approved for homes, you are automatically approved for here. If you need a copy of your existing approval notification or need an update on your application status, please contact us at 800-762-70772. Select your IRA registered contractor. Now that you know what you are qualified for, you can find an IRA registered contractor. These trusted program partners help you choose the best qualifying equipment for your home. Note: when choosing an IRA registered contractor, be sure to select a contractor that participates as an IRA here installer and offers the equipment you are interested in. 3 equipment installation: have your new energy efficient equipment installed. Your rebate will be provided as an instant discount right on your invoice. No waiting for a check in the mail. Equipment rebates here offers rebates for installing qualifying equipment. A single household cannot receive more than $14,000 total in rebate dollars from this program. Maximum project rebates are based on income level. Qualified new or existing single and multifamily homes are welcome to participate. Income eligibility: maximum project rebate households below 80% AMI 100% of project costs up to $14,000. Households between 80% and 150% AMI 50% of project costs up to $14,000. Higher income households 150% AMI are not eligible for this program type of home energy project. Qualified technology, rebate max per product category eligible for new construction. Energy Star electric heat pump water heater up to $1,750. Yes. Energy Star electric heat pump for space heating up to $8,000. Yes. Electrical load service center electrical panel up to $4,000. No. Electrical wiring up to $2,500. No. Insulation air ceiling ventilation up to $1,600 rebate. Not yet available. No. Energy Star electric heat pump clothes dryer up to $840 rebate, not yet available. Yes. Energy Star electric stove cooktop range up to $840 rebate, not yet available. Yes. Rebates are available only when upgrading from a non-electric appliance. Note, a single household address may not receive a rebate from both IRA home efficiency rebates homes and here for the same upgrade or equipment type. However, projects receiving rebates from either of these programs may also be eligible to receive focus on energy rebates. Retroactive rebates are not available for here. Other ways to save. IRA home energy rebates are not the only ways to save on your home energy projects. You may be eligible for other programs, including focus on energy rebates and discounts, the weatherization assistance program, and tax credits. Plus, you can combine many of these with IRA home energy rebates for even more savings. The Get Started tool will help you identify what you are eligible for. 2. United States Supreme Court rejects for now Trump bid to fire government watchdog. The Supreme Court order indicated that it may return to the issue as soon as next week when a temporary restraining order of a trial judge is set to expire. Rozep view the opinions of the Trump defense have been edited out for the sake of brevity. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, February 21st, 2025. The Supreme Court, in its first decision on the Trump use of executive power in his second term, ruled on Friday that he cannot for now remove a government lawyer who leads the watchdog agency that protects whistleblowers, but the Supreme Court brief and signed order indicated that it may soon return to the issue, noting that a temporary restraining order of a trial judge shielding the lawyer Hampton Dellinger is set to expire. Next week, Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson said that they would have rejected the Trump request for Supreme Court intervention. The Supreme Court order came amid a blitz of executive actions, including one seeking to remove thousands of federal employees, many of them in roles long thought protected from summary dismissal. Dellinger has served as head of the Office of Special Counsel, which was created by Congress in 1978 to protect government whistleblowers. It is unrelated to the special counsels appointed by the Justice Department. The law says the special counsel must be confirmed by the Senate, serves for a 5-year term, and may be removed by the president only for inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. Dellinger, who was confirmed last year, was fired by an administration official in a terse email on February 7th. It did not say why he sued, and Judge Amy Berman Jackson of the Federal District Court in Washington entered a temporary restraining order allowing Dellinger to keep his job for 2 weeks while she considered whether to enter a preliminary injunction. The order expires on February 26, 2025. Matt stated that this would be an especially unfortunate moment at which to weaken the Office of Special Counsel, given the historic upheaval currently occurring within federal employment and the continued importance of ensuring that whistleblowers are guarded from reprisal. Matz acknowledged that the court had allowed for such firings in the past, at least where the agencies in question had broad authority, but he said the Office of Special Counsel has far more limited responsibilities. Indeed, he wrote, the Supreme Court distinguished it from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau CFPB in the decision allowing the removal of its leader. Presidents of both parties have expressed reservations about whether Congress is entitled to place limits on Trump power to remove the head of the Office of Special Counsel, but the Supreme Court has suggested that the agency may have distinctive features that justify differing treatment. 3 Pennsylvania and Illinois Democratic governors urge more fight against Trump voters. Activists and even some governors like Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania are growing exasperated with the restrained approach of congressional Democrats. Rozep top excerpts, we do not have kings in America, and I do not intend to bend the knee. Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, a Democrat, said in a speech this week, when the 5-alarm fire starts to burn, every good person better be ready to man a post with a bucket of water if you want to stop it from raging out of control. Representative Greg Casar, a Texas Democrat who leads the Congressional Progressive Caucus, sees a chance to expand the Democratic Party appeal with a broad spectrum of voters who are uneasy with giving the ultra-wealthy like Musk more power. It is not just progressive voters that are upset, he said, but he added, for us to encourage people to step up and fight and put in their hours after and before work to stand up to Trump. They also need to see their elected officials coming together, treating this as the emergency that it is. Rozep excerpt on the whack-a-mole conundrum. Governor Ned Lamont of Connecticut suggested that he was trying to head off that possibility for his state by taking as many meetings as he could with Trump administration officials and Republican governors at the National Governors Association gathering this week in Washington. I am trying to keep my head down, so it is not like whack-a-mole, and I am the mole, he said. Governor Janet Mills of Maine briefly played the role of the mole on Friday during a White House meeting where Trump attacked her stance defending the rights of transgender people. Enjoy your life after governor, he said. I do not think you will be in elected politics. In a statement, a group of Democratic governors denounced the Trump conduct, saying he had engaged in ugly personal attacks and threats and pushed unfounded conspiracy theories. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The New York Times, February 22, 2025. An angry message from Democratic Party activists and voters to their leaders is do something across the country. Anti-Trump protests and fiery town halls are flickering back to life. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, a Democrat, has filed a lawsuit over the Trump freeze of federal funding for Pennsylvania projects and said Congress is failing to do what is their fundamental responsibility constitutionally, to be a check. Democrats have a sense of shock and outrage. None of the Trump nominees have been rejected by the Republican-controlled Senate, which early Friday also approved a GOP budget plan that would increase spending on border security and the military. Some Democrats urge patience, betting that the United States' mood toward Trump will sour for now. They face the hurdle of life in the congressional minority, alongside the possibility of retaliation against those who criticize Trump or his powerful ally Musk. I really do not know what they can do, said a 56-year-old woman, a Democrat from Mesa, Arizona. My only hope is that people will see and get out and vote the next time. Democratic lawmakers are also divided, with some eager to battle Trump and Republicans on every front, and others urging a far more selective approach. Representative Marie Glissenkamp-Perez of Washington, a Democrat who represents a district that Trump won, warned against overreacting to whatever is coming down the Twitter feed. Our job is to build a national consensus about how we are going to address the very real problems we are facing, she said, and not alienate the voters who are going to determine the balance of power, the real legislative authority. Moving forward, a major test of the Democratic posture toward Republicans is unfolding over a spending confrontation. In the meantime, as Democrats strain to keep up with the rapid moves of Trump, they have held news conferences, taken to social media, tried to force Republicans to take damaging votes, and in some cases organized protests as they seek to cast Trump as advancing the interests of billionaires at the expense of the working class. Ken Martin, the new chairman of the Democratic National Committee, even embraced the word resist, which has fallen out of favor with exhausted Democrats beyond Washington. Some governors are pushing back more, but some Democratic governors recall their dealings with Trump during his first term, when certain governors believed that federal aid was conditioned on flattery. Governors are worried their states are going to get crushed and trying to figure out the right balance between condemning Trump and staying on his good side, said former Representative Tom Malinowski of New Jersey, a Democrat who has encouraged more forceful pushback to Trump. Inevitably, they are going to offend him, and inevitably, he is going to try to crush them. Still, several Democratic governors plan to attend a White House dinner hosted by Trump on Saturday night. In the past, the event has led to governors confronting presidents of both parties. In Kansas City, Missouri, Mayor Quinton Lucas, a Democrat, said that many voters had grown inured to the outlandish statements of Trump. For United States Nonfiction, How Trump Rode a Wave of Reactionary Nihilism to the White House, a new book by a journalist, finds a far-right movement seething in resentment, suspicious of reason, and determined to dominate at all costs. Rosette View. This book gives Democrats ideas on how to reach Trump voters who regret their decision. Point out to former MAGA infantry that as former infantry, they are not getting economic relief as they expected, and they were never destined to receive economic relief anyway. This book predicted the Trump actions causing the most pain economically to middle and lower class Americans. Now a chapter called Smashing the Administrative State explains the long-standing plans to replace the public administration of government services with a privately controlled corporate-managed regime of radical right. Rosette top excerpt about the MAGA lower and middle class disposable infantry funders supply the money that helps the thinkers churn out the ideas that justify the power to make ever more money by founders. Just do not tell that to the infantry, those millions of lower and middle income Americans who turned out for Trump. The only real role for the infantry is to supply the votes. The infantry might think they are voting for cheaper eggs, when what they are more likely to get are fewer meat inspectors and an expansionist force satisfying the economic and emotional needs of this group is always the source of legitimacy of the anti-democratic movement stated in public, but it is never the actual goal. Rosette top excerpt explaining the elitism at the top of MAGA that is definitely not merit-based. A chapter on the Claremont Institute, the right-wing California think tank, examines ideas of the political philosopher Leo Strauss and the Nazi jurist Carl Schmitt. Yet the author is also careful not to overstate any intellectual depth of this MAGA movement. Many ideas of cutting-edge figures on the far right are knee-jerk, contrarian, and fundamentally empty. Its leading intellectuals are Ivy League graduates obsessed with campus squabbles of the Ivy League. The author argues that MAGA elaborate theories are constructed from feelings of elite entitlement and petty resentment. When they talk about sticking it to the administrative state or fantasize about having their dictator buddy manhandle the libs, they seem to be dreaming about revenge on the people. Down the hall. Rosette top excerpt explaining that conventional manliness and irrationality are shared values of both MAGA thinkers, extending even lower on the food chain to down to MAGA infantry. The author offers a history that includes the high-toned illiberal musings of the Harvard legal scholar Adrian Vermeule. An adolescent boy's preoccupation with manliness turns out to be a common denominator among the thinkers on the right. Rational deliberation gets ridiculed as a tool of liberal democracy, which MAGA thinkers depict as somehow both tyrannical and toothless. All the strategies they offer boil down to domination. Rosette top excerpt, which showed the author did not anticipate everything that could happen in the Trump second term. The definition of nihilism is the rejection of all religious and moral principles and the belief that life is meaningless. The author of the book reviewed here failed to anticipate some early surprises of the second Trump term. Darren Beattie, a White House speechwriter, left his post in 2018 after news reports revealed that he spoke at a white nationalist-attended conference. In the book, Darren Beattie was dismissed as too far out even for a second Trump administration. Recently, Trump tapped Darren Beattie for a top job at the State Department, putting him in charge of United States public diplomacy only 4 months after Darren Beattie declared on X, competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. Excerpts edited by Rosette for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates. A 501c3 nonprofit organization. The New York Times, February 21st, 2025. Money, Lies, and God was mostly written before the November 2024 election, but the book reads as a creepy guide predicting this United States MAGA political moment. Money, Lies, and God encompasses the right-wing movement to destroy American democracy. The author divides the movement into 5 categories: funders, thinkers, sergeants, infantry, and power players. These groups do not have the best interests at heart of each other and do not always get along. This movement can be fractured, but as lined up under MAGA and Trump, they speak the language of democracy while practicing the authoritarian politics of coercion and exclusion. What they share is reactionary nihilism. They denounce tolerance and pluralism. Reactionary nihilists assume the world has no value and is not affected by reason and is governable only through brutal acts of will. The author has spent time with reactionary nihilists. Her book gives Plus a tour through a Las Vegas Christian nationalist event and a fancy Philadelphia Moms for Liberty fundraiser as a cure for cynicism. The author ends by calling for building coalitions and a progressive system of taxation. It is a noble, hopeful conclusion that highlights the gap between the deliberately fast Trump news cycle and the slower pace of book time. The far right seeks to demolish the possibility of reasonable discussion by treating politics as an extension of war. Books like hers function not as weapons, but as maps navigating a way around the edges of an empty crater.
One introduction. Rosette view. The United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only for home building and furniture building. For just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions. Yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burn tree. But it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burn tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen, and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burn tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom. The Eco-Design Wood Stove and International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. Rosette view. Purple air. PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.